Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Huh. Okay. Strange. But I'm also not talking very loudly. Now I'm kind of in front of the microphone talking a little more loudly. But again, what we talked about, let me just make we can just do one more sound check. B'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi. So I just made a small change again, and tell me if it's, and I know that it might sound worse, but you never know. So just checking again, I'm waiting to hear back from you. I love seeing 3 dots. Test, test. Test, 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Too loud. Rabbi Shalom ater bala gam besimcha utzola tof emunei amsugula boicha la lecha dodi likrat kala. I'm by the way using the handheld microphone. Well, I'm not sure if what you're referring to. So, and it could also be because I'm talking into 2 microphones at once. So I'm moving over here, test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So when you're, from this point forward, if you're referencing it's terrible, I am now on a wireless microphone by the flags. So what I want you to do is refer to this as by the flags, because I'm now walking back. And bring this down a little bit. Okay. I just lowered the volume of the wireless microphone, and I'm now for the second time walking over by the flag. So this is flag 2 with a lowered volume on the wireless. And I'm prepared to turn it off. This is just if I was going around for, going into the sanctuary. Still bad, flag 2. Okay, thanks. So, all right, let's see. This is off. So, is it, I'm sure it's better now. And let me just do one more thing. Still bad, flag 2. And I want you to I'm about to do flag 3. But not yet. Test. So I'm about to do flag 3. Tell me about flag 3. So how's flag 3 sound? Is flag 3 better? And I know you're delayed by 15 seconds, so I'm going to wait to hear about flag 3, because flag 3 is awful. Oh, really? I can't believe it's worse, but I get it. So this was we got trouble right here in River City. We got trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes. We just need Draper to come and figure this out with us. But let me so by the way, just if you don't mind, I'm assuming things are better now, because I turned off the wireless microphone. And please confirm that it's better that I turn the wireless microphone off. Music Man is better. Music Man is better. Music Man is better. Because I don't think I believe that I was singing Music Man before. Let's see. But all right. But let's see. Oh, music. Okay. New text is coming, and it's long as I'm still waiting to hear about. Did it get better? You quoted. Did I? Oh, we got Trouble River City. Yes, I did. Good. Oh, very good. Okay. So, point is that I'm assuming, I'm waiting to hear that it sounds better right now than it certainly did when I was using the wireless microphone. And confirm that. I'm at the Bema, just the Bema mic. And then after I do this, I just want to do one more thing. Good, you're about to tell me if it's better now than it was before. Just leave it like this. I can, but I can also take, I remember when we were doing -10, -5 last time? I'm currently at -5, and we liked -10. Do you want me to compare -10 and -5? I'm going to. So right now it's -5, and now -10. So I'm now at -10 right now, talking -10. Previously it was -5. I will move it back to where we had it before, but I'm just confirming. And then once I move it back to -5, we'll double check it one last time. And then, yeah, so I am indeed waiting to hear back about -5 versus -10. I am currently at -10, and then I can move it back to -5 in a minute when I hear back from you. All right, the 3 dots. I'm still at -10. Love 3 dots. It's so helpful. I could not tell the difference this time between so then I'm going to go to -5 because at least that means that it's louder. And louder at least means it's better for people on the computer. So I'm back at this time I'm at -5. And if you can't tell the difference, then we should accept, I could not tell the difference. So that's good. And yeah, all right, cool. So I'll leave it at -5. And I'm probably going to stop talking. In fact, I am going to mute the sound because no need for me to pick up the sound. Okay, cool. So sound
We're going to do
Test.
singing again?
Test. Yeah, let's do it. We're just going to be doing a lot of singing tonight, as usual.
As usual.
Test. I'm just testing the microphones. We had some sound issues last. Oh no, you can hear. It's not about hearing and hear. It's about the stream sound. Yeah, we are working on that. We got to figure that out a little bit better. Welcome, by the way, to anyone who's watching on video right now. So glad to have you. As you can
Zoom today?
What's that?
No Zoom today?
No Zoom, just stream. Zoom once a month.
Once a month. That's fair.
Once a month. The stream.
People back in the building.
Yeah, we want people back in the building. I'm sure for those of you who are watching on the stream that you see to my left, that means you are right. That's Noah Simon. Noah, by the way, is going to the land of Israel in 2 days, leaving on Sunday, going on birthright. That is your birthright to go on that trip. You know that, don't you?
This is true.
All right, I think we're ready to start. Shabbat Shalom and welcome. So glad to have you. We're going to do it. It's New Year's, we're going to do a lot of singing tonight. When you have Noah here, we just take advantage of his skills on the guitar. And so, again, lots of singing, and we invite you and encourage you to sing along with us. We want you to, we need you to make this a nice community. We're going to be using this prayer book for the course of our service, and we begin with Hine Matov, which means how good it is to be together as one community, and you can find it on page 128.
Matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. Matov u'manayim, sheverachim gam yachad.
All right, great way to start. Page 120 is how we continue with the blessing of the Shabbat candles. So, that this is how Shabbat officially begins. Probably said it a million times, but you never know. One person might have forgotten or one person might not have been here, but one of the prohibitions of Shabbat, of the Sabbath, at least according to traditional Judaism, is that there's no lighting of fire. And so during the Sabbath, and so therefore, officially, according to traditional Judaism, right now it's not Shabbat. And then the moment I light the Shabbat candles, that's when it becomes Shabbat. It's my last act. So you can think about it as Shabbat had already started. Just explain.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehanhig ner shel
page 123 as we continue with Kiddush, Kiddush, the blessing of the wine over Shabbat. Page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shamat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshcha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
All right. So our service continues with Lechu Neranana. You can find it on page 130 in your Siddur. It's part of Psalm 95. Lechu Neranana. Kabbalat Shabbat, which is all of the prayers leading up to the Baruch Hu as part of the service. This next inclusion is part of Psalm 96, and it's called Ya'alo Sadai. So if you want to find it in the prayer book, you got to go deep into Psalm 96. So you got to go all the way down the first paragraph, and then you see the space, and then it's actually on the third line after the space. So it's just a little part of the Psalm 96. Nonetheless, it's verse 12 if you're curious. Ya'alo Sadai.
Ya'alo Sadai, v'chol asher lo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alo Sadai, v'chol asher lo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 az ranenu kol atzei ya'ar, az ranenu kol atzei ya'ar, az
Kabbalat Shabbat. This is Lecha Dodi, so page 138, and this is that beautiful Kabbalistic prayer piyut, which is a poem of the service, and it was written by Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz in Sfat in the 16th century, and I should just point out that we're going to do the first verse, and then the second verse, and then the fifth verse, and then the ninth verse. So we're going to do first, second, fifth, and ninth. And when we get to the ninth, I'll invite you to rise and face the entrance to the sanctuary, as was the tradition of the Kabbalists. And so, Lecha Dodi, page 138. This is the final verse. Would you please rise, face the entrance. Boi v'shalom
Ateret bala
Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Tof emunei am segula Boi chala
נקבלה לך תודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה
Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei HaShalom. Shalom, Shalom, Malachei HaShalom.
נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Remain standing. We're on 146. This is the call to worship I mentioned, the Baruch Hu, page 146. Page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. On the next page, 150, Ahavat Olam, God's love for the world.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה.
152. Would you rise again, this time for the Shema?
Shema Yisrael Adonai
Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. One 54. Avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. V'hayu hadvarim, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevavecha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Vishinantam evanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha v'lechtecha b'derech v'shochtecha uv'kunecha v'kshartam leotav yadecha v'hayu l'tokafot b'neicha v'chtavtam amezuzot beitecha amezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha. Ya la ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la la ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la. 159. Keep going. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of the world redeemed, the song of peace. Previous facing page 158. la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Skip Visham, but still do Hashkivenu. So really one of the most nostalgic prayers for me. Hashkivenu, but this particular version, I was telling Noah about it earlier, about 30 years ago, 30 years ago, during those years, I used to lead teen tours to Israel for the summer, and when this version of Hashkivenu was written by my friend that some of you have met, Yoshi Zweiback. He's been here a couple times as a scholar in residence. As he was writing this song, he and I led a trip together to Israel for teens, and he taught it to the group. And it became so significant to them that they could not go to sleep without singing that song. And there was one part of the trip in which the group had to separate and go to different places. And then like 3 days later, they all came back, and to a person, they just said, what they missed most was singing the song. So this is a very nostalgic song for me. So Noah suggested it, and I did not object to it. This is Hashkivenu, written by Yoshi Zweiback. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, just God wrong from right. Adonai, Amen, 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 All right, our service continues with the tefillah, and you can find it beginning on page 164 with singing of Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and then it goes to 166, 168, and 170 in rapid succession. So you just got to go with it. I'll try to tell you the page numbers, but we're starting on 164, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and I'd like to invite everyone to please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, B'Ezrat Sarah. 168. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Kol atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Mori HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayeh Emunato, L'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, U'Midon Melach, Melech Mimit, U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. We're on page, let's see here. How about 175? You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. All right, so 178, this is our evening prayer for peace called Shalom Rav.
Israel
Amcha tasim leolam, Shalom Rav
Israel Amcha
tasim leolam, Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom, Ki ata Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam, ברכת אדוני, המברכת עמו ישראל, Shalom. So, this is one of my favorite parts of the service because we use this as an opportunity to just share the things that are in our lives which bring us joy, and then afterwards the things that are giving us a little pause because of pain. And so I'm going to. I didn't bring a microphone with. We're having a couple of sound issues. Don't worry, we'll get them fixed. But we were testing out the wireless microphones, and they were causing some feedback and problems. So I'm going to stay back here. Normally I would kind of walk out, but I'm going to stay back here just to make sure that I can repeat what was said into the microphone, and also people can hear. But if you've experienced joy recently and you'd like to share a little bit of that joy, we would like to hear about it. So all you have to do is just raise your hand, and I'll call on you, and you can tell me a little bit about your joy, and I can repeat it into the microphone too. Karen, go ahead.
Last weekend, my youngest son, Arthur, is here visiting for several weeks from Missouri, which is a huge joy. And last weekend, the two of us got to go to Pittsburgh, despite the weather, and visit with more family. And everyone made it safely there and safely home. Lovely time.
Wonderful. So, Missouri, a son from Missouri is visiting for a few weeks, and then the two of you last week went to Pittsburgh with more family that's in Pittsburgh, and you've had a lot of family over the last few weeks, and that's been a lot of joy for you. So, Mazel Tov. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share joy? Anyone who's maybe going to Israel the next day or two?
Sure.
Oh, fine, just checking.
Yes, I am indeed very excited. I'm going on Birthright with my university to Israel. A lot of my friends are going. I'm going to have a lovely time. I'll be there for 12 days. I'm leaving on Sunday from Boston Logan Airport. Direct flight to Tel Aviv on El Al. Pretty good.
Upgraded?
I don't know. We'll see what they bought us.
I'm pretty sure they didn't get you business class. I mean,
they did supposedly get us pretty nice hotels. So we'll see. I will report back. But I am very excited for that. And then after that, I'll be back at school for the spring semester. Got a really exciting load of classes lined up. So lots of joy coming up in the future.
So this is our last Shabbat with Noah for a while. So that's not joy for us.
Well,
but,
I'll be back for Pesach.
All right, good.
I'll be here before you know it.
So when we hear about your accomplishments and your experiences, we kvel because it's like you are part of our extended family. So congratulations on Birthright, and we're just going to be bummed to see you go. Then you're going to have to listen to me on the guitar, which, trust me, is not as good. That is pretty clear. Anybody else want to share any joy? Yeah.
I was just going to say it's my first time to the temple here, and I'm just enjoying the spiritual and the beautiful music and the service.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Anybody else? I'm repeating for the cameras. We got a camera, by the way, back there and one over there. And by the way, currently that's the one that's on. So if you're wondering, the side's on tonight, right now. Yeah, we were just saying that it's first time here, and he was appreciating kind of the spiritual feel here in the congregation. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to share joy? All right, well, that's good. Baruch atah Adonai, Gomel Chasadim Tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for partnering with us in the many moments of joy that are in our lives. Amen.
Amen.
Now, along with the joy, of course, is a recognition of struggle and pain. Loved ones from our congregation and our extended community are struggling with, they don't have a sense of wholeness. And we wish for them a sense of peace and healing. And we have a blessing that we say called Misha Berach. It's a healing prayer. Now, I know this isn't the most spiritual thing to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
It's not my belief that the words of this prayer magically bring healing. So it's not like, just say these words and whoever's name was associated with this blessing all of a sudden has like a 50% chance of healing better than they did without these words. That's not the way it works. Doctors heal, and nurses heal, and rabbis don't. Used to be the rabbis healed, but I think that that's more of a myth than a reality. But what I can say is that despite the fact that that words alone don't heal, what I can say is that when you feel like you're part of a community, when you're joining your hopes for a loved one's healing with someone else's hopes for a loved one's healing, there's strength in that kind of connection. And that strength helps. It does. It's not just myth. That's when it becomes real. But it's not the words. It's the feeling and the energy that you get from having said these words and then from having shared them with others. So allow me to share with you the beginning of this blessing called Mishaberach, and then halfway through I will give you here a chance to just share any name that you wish that you would like to add to our prayer for healing. You can say a person's name in Hebrew or in English, or not at all, of course. So the blessing begins this way: Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel. And those words mean, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. Hu yivarech v'yirapeh et kol hacholim shelanu. Those words mean, may God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And so if you'd like to share a name of someone in need of healing, just raise your hand or say it. There's not that many of us here that we can't just share. Go ahead, Sybil.
Denise Pine, Paula Russell, Beth Martini,
Thank you.
Emily Rochelle,
Thank you. Thank you.
Miriam Fry,
Yeah.
Hillman Avram,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Merv Wendegrass,
Yeah.
Meir Abatsara.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Then let me also add the names Eric Harris, Laura McDaniel, B. Fox, Mark Koppelman, Rich Harrison, and Lee Williams. Vishlach lehem bimheira refuah shalema. May God send them all speedily a complete recovery. Refuat hanefesh v'refuat haguf, a healing of body and a healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen, and let us say amen. So if you'd like, I invite you to turn to page 371. 371 is the words to this song called Mishaberach, a song of healing. Again, 371.
Blessed the ones before.
pause now for a moment of silence.
We resume with Ose Shalom on page 180. Ose Shalom bimroma,
Huya ose shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma. Huya ose shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma. Huya ose shalom aleinu. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Ose shalom bimroma. Yase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma. Shalom Ibrahima, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'ako Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'ako Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael.
So I'm just going to share with you a couple of brief words about New Year's in Judaism. Okay, I wrote on the front cover. By the way, if you every week I change this little quote here to something mildly relevant. So this one is from the Mishnah, which is Rosh Hashanah. The Mishnah says there are 4 New Years because according to Jewish tradition, there are 4 New Years. Now, you are familiar with the first one according to Jewish tradition, right? Rosh Hashanah, New Year, 1st of Tishrei. Indeed, it's a new year. It's the new year, really, according to, this is not a Q&A here, Miranda. So the new year of Tishrei is of seasons, when you think about it, and that's what it was intended for. It's the beginning of the fall. And one of the elements of Jewish tradition, because the Torah doesn't say, by the way, that that the 1st of Tishrei, so the new year that we think of for Rosh Hashanah is a new year. They talk about it as the head of the year, but it's not. It's really referred to as the sound the shofar. It's not fire any firecrackers and fireworks off for it. It's really about a new season starting. And the Torah, the Mishnah then goes on to say that there's 3 others. The second new year is Tu B'Shvat, the new year for trees. So why do trees need New Year's, or why do we need a new year for trees? It's really not. It was just kind of their way of, in all of these cases, they just needed to mark, like, when does the season for growing, when you're counting your fruit that grew from trees, so that this is when this new tree growth happens. Tu B'Shvat, New Year for trees. And then they say there's another New Year. It's actually, in the Torah, it does speak about this as the first month of the year, which is Nisan, the month that has Pesach in it. But the reason why it's called a New Year in Nisan, which is in April, is because it was called the New Year for kings. Why? If a king's reign, they would count years starting from Nisan, from April. And then the final New Year, this is my favorite, Elul, the first of Elul is a New Year. Why? It's for cattle, tithing cattle. You had to, when you were counting your cattle, you had to start counting at some point. And so they just said, all right, for the first of Elul, which is usually in August, that would be, the New Year. And when I did a little bit of research on cattle and birthing calves, it was pretty clear that most cattle it's intended for them to be born in the summer. And so my suspicion is that, so they figured that Elul, which is towards the end of the summer, was a way of saying, all right, all the cattle was probably born by this point. It's not to say that cattle only is born in the summer, it's not, but they had to pick a time, and so they said Elul, the first of Elul, right? So that's according to Jewish tradition when the New Year's are. None of them are January 1st. Then, of course, there was no January 1st back then. TBS, by the way, our synagogue, Temple, Beth Shalom, we have New Year's too, a number of different New Years, and I'm not joking, right? We have our fiscal New Year, July 1st. That's different from January 1st, right? That's our New Year. Or we have the New Year for our religious school, that's for sure. We got a New Year, Tishrei, of course, Rosh Hashanah is a New Year for us. And I gotta tell you, I just want you to know, just in case, the office is indeed closed on Monday in observance of January 1st observed. And so we celebrate all 4 of those New Years here. So it could say there are 4 New Years for Jews. There's 4 New Years, according to the Mishnah, there's 4 New Years for Temple Beth Shalom. I would dare say that, you have at least 2 New Years, right? You've got your Rosh Hashanah, and you've got, which is the Jewish New Year. And of course you have the New Year for making resolutions. Now, let me tell you a story about a great Talmudic story, which I think, hopefully, will be mildly instructive for you as you think about your resolutions for this year. Right, so the Talmud story goes that there was a king. And by the way, anytime the Talmud talks about a king, it's a metaphor for God. But still, the story talks about a king. And the king has an orchard, and the orchard has really delicious fruit in it, including figs, like ripe, beautiful figs in it. And so the king sets over the orchard 2 watch guards, 2 guards. One is blind, and the other cannot walk. Right? So that's, the king intentionally sets these 2 as the guards for the orchard. And why? Because he doesn't want these guards taking any of his delicious fruit. And so he knows that a blind guard wouldn't be able to see where the fruit was, and a person who couldn't walk wouldn't be able to get to the fruit. King thought he was ingenious. But these 2 guards were just as smart. And what did they do? The man who couldn't walk said to the blind man, this is the story in the Talmud, by the way. Who can't tell you it's historical, but it's in the Talmud. He says, the man who couldn't walk says to the blind man, he says, I have an idea, come over here, listen to my voice, come over here, put me on your back, your shoulders. You'll carry me over to where the fruit is. I'll direct you. We'll both eat of the fruit together,
and everything will be great. And it's exactly what they did. The blind man put the man who couldn't walk on his shoulders. They went, they took all the fruit they could eat. They ate, they were happy, they were satisfied. Sometime later, the king returned, said to the two guards, "Where's all my fruit?" The guards said to the king, "How could we have taken it? I'm blind." The other one says, "I can't walk. It's impossible. We could never have taken it." And the king said, "Let's see. Why doesn't the person who can't walk get on the shoulders of the person who's blind?" And they looked at him like, "How on earth could you have figured that out?" But the king was wise enough and said, "If the two of you, your skills, both of you, work together. And when they work together, you get fruit." And what's the lesson? The lesson is our minds, our spirits, our body. By the way, it's Sanhedrin, the Talmud tractate. I think it's page 91. But our minds, our bodies, our spirits, they're all connected. So often we make resolutions for one and not the other. Right? Oh, we resolve, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise more. But lost in that is, I'm going to care more. I'm going to learn more. We think that resolutions are all about health and all about our bodies, but we forget that according to our tradition, our minds, our spirits, our bodies, they're all linked. And so when we find ourselves concentrating on one and not the others, it's an incomplete picture of who we are. And so what's the message? Simple. New Year's message for resolution is, let's resolve this year to work on all. Work on our spirits, work on our minds, and work on our bodies. And don't think that one is sufficient. And don't overpromise. Reasonable resolutions, those are usually the best ones. So I wish you a Shana Tova early. I think that's what we say in Judaism. Shana Tova, Happy New Year. And we continue now. 586, page 586, that is Aleinu. I'd like to invite you to please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו So at this moment in our service, we bring to mind loved ones who have been called to their eternal rest. Some of them have passed away recently, others passed away on this Shabbat over the years. We call this their yahrzeit, and we remember them all. That's really one of the most important special things about a synagogue, I should tell you. Lost in the many various valuable things about a synagogue, the programs, the school, the community, but lost in that is, and perhaps the most rich and important thing, is the synagogue is a tangible way for you to remember loved ones who have passed away. It's here, this is where you come as a way of saying, I miss you and I love you. And so I'm going to read some names. First, two who have passed away recently. Marie Adams, mother of Lou Shapiro,
and Norma Mitchum, grandmother of Josh Weiss. But also, I'd like to share with you these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. It's the anniversary of their passing. Diane Powis, Mark Rotner, Marvin Mindell, Barry Drucker, Mary Smith, Sylvia Ackerman, Samuel Nepper, Celia Levine, Stuart Flown, Richard David Kreger, Anna Kushner, Samuel Schechter, Phyllis Barenbaum, Roz Beck Eichelman, Ruth Cantor, William Clipper, Phyllis Krasner, Lester Krushat, Harriet Holstein, Alexander Roeder, Elizabeth Saville, and Josh Siegel. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them now with our mourners Kaddish. And if it's your custom, I invite you to please rise. 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechal beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulamei al maya, Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiram b'yalma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'imrumav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. So, our service is almost concluded, and allow me to just share a few words before we do conclude. Number one, thank you to Risa Ganel, thank you so much, and Jill Simon for serving as ushers this evening. Greatly appreciate you, and also thank you to, the biggest thank you to this young man right here. Noah Simon, you are extraordinary, and every time you're here, it's like you become more and more skilled and sophisticated. It's just like, we kvel, because you are impressive. Let me just share with you a few announcements. So, I mentioned to you that the temple building is going to be closed on Monday the 2nd, I'm pretty sure, and in observance of New Year's Day, which means, by the way, no Torah study if you come to my Torah study class on Monday the 2nd. Classes resume the week after on the 9th. On the 3rd, if you've got business to do here at the temple, stay away. No, the reason why is because we're having some HVAC units delivered and installed, and the temple driveway is going to be a mess with cranes and all sorts of stuff. So if you have to come, because you just need to be here, call ahead of time, just to make sure. Sisterhood Book Club meets on January 3rd, but that is, I don't think in person here, but rather it's probably on Zoom. Oh no, it's going to be somewhere, but not here. And if you'd like to go, then you need to be in touch with Betty Morgenstern for more information, and all of this can be found in the weekly email that you get. Men's Club lunch meets on Tuesday rather, at the at the Double T Diner. My class on Pirkei Avot, which is not a class on Pirkei Avot, even though it is, as much as it's really a class on really the sages, and we talk about and learn about who these people were and what they meant and why it is that they said the things that they said. So it's really a fun and interesting class, but we use Pirkei Avot, which is the ethics and sayings of our ancestors, as kind of like the framework for the way that we talk about things. So no prior experience necessary. You can come whenever you want to, and that's on Tuesday evening, January 3rd, 7 p.m. The class is both in person and on Zoom. Sisterhood Mahjong is on the 4th of January, pancake breakfast on the 8th, challah baking with Vered Mullen on the 10th, Hineni meets on the 11th. Our next music Shabbat, Shabbat Zimra, which is really a lot of fun, and I could not encourage you to come. It's like it's Shabbat plugged, not unplugged, but plugged. We got the bass guitar and the electric guitar, and it's really kind of a lot of fun to kind of really have a little bit more of like kind of an upbeat, rock and rolly kind of a Shabbat. That next one is on January 13th. And finally, I do want to point out the Annapolis Opera will be presenting American musicals and their Jewish legacy. That is on January 21st. So a lot of great things happening over the next few weeks. And Noah's going to Israel. And that's a big one, too.
That's a pretty big one.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good things happening over the next few weeks. Please look in the temple email or online to get more information about it. All right, so before we conclude with Adon Olam, and that is on page 625.
Unless I got that.
No, you're right. 635 is Shir Malot. 625 is Adon Olam. But before we do it, just a quick blessing of Motzi. So you can go and have a little bit of the Oneg Shabbat. Join me, Baruch
Adonai, Elohim melech haolam, hamotzi lechem mihaaretz. Amen.
All right, Adon Olam, 625.
Adon olam, asher malach,
B'terem Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, V'chefsokol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei, Lo Takol, Levado, Im Lo Torah, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hoveh, Vehu Yeh, V'tifara. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Bo Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefsokol Lamelech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kiflot Hakol Ado Yimlok Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hoveh Vehu Yeh V'tifara. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Bo Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefsokol Lamelech Shemo Nikra
ואחרי ככלות הכל,
Levado Yimlok Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Hoveh
ותפארה, והוא היה ותובע, ותפארה, והוא היה ותובע, ותפארה.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thanks so
Shabbat
much for
Shalom.
being here. Thank you to those who watched on our stream. We're so glad to at least have you digitally or virtually, and look forward to seeing you in person next time. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thanks for being here. Nice job, Noah. You are amazing as usual. You are amazing.